What's up, YouTube? We back with another review. This is Gachiakuta episode 5. Let's get it! And so the anime opens up with Zanka the cleaner. He's awakened by some noise. And as he's walking around curious to see what's going on, he finds out there's a party going on. Rudo's getting his welcome to the ground party. And as Zanka's walking around, he notices all the other cleaners having fun, playing cards, eating and drinking. He runs into Rio and he says, "What is going on?" She says, "We're just throwing Rudo a welcoming party." Zanka then looks towards Rudo, and Rudo's head is down. He's looking depressed. Zanka says, "He's supposed to be the man of the hour. Why is he looking so depressed?" Rio says, "Well, during the fight, his vital instrument crapped out on him. That's why he's so sad." Zanka then asks Rio about the trash beast fight the other day. He says, "Didn't it have a vital instrument it was powered by?" She says, "Yeah." She said, "We were spooked. We didn't know what to do. We were so worried." Then she jokingly tells Zanka, she says, "So we just left that up to people with a higher pay grade, and we just came here to have a party." Zanka says, "Man, bruh, you never change." Camera then pans to Rudo. He's sulking in depression, and as he's looking down to the ground, one of the cleaner's supporters comes and sits next to him. He introduces himself as Grease, and as he's talking to Rudo, he's telling him, he's saying, "Hey man, thank you for helping out there." Rudo's like, "Dude, I didn't even do nothing. I'm such a loser." Grease then tries to reassure him. He says, "No, you helped Folo." And Folo is the other supporter on the team who Rudo helped when a trash beast came out of nowhere to attack him. Rudo is still sulking in depression. He's like, "No, I still froze up and I couldn't use my vital instrument. And you and Rio had to come and save me." Then he starts to go into flashback of him always needing people to help him and him never living up to expectations. He grows furious with himself. He says, "Nothing has changed. I'm still the weak little child that needs someone to help him all the time. I'm always dependent on someone." Grease then interrupts him. He says, "Hey, thanks." Rudo's like, "Thanks." He says, "Thanks for not looking down on me because I'm a supporter and I don't have much power." He tells Rudo that most people see the supporters as weaklings who don't have power. But he says, "You didn't do that. You didn't judge me, so thank you." And as Grease tries to uplift Rudo, he tells him the story of Folio, the young supporter on the cleaners team who's highly motivated to do good things with the cleaners. After this story, he tells Rudo, he says, "Hey, forget trying to live up to people's expectations and think about what you always really wanted to do in life." And he says your path will become way more clear once you get back to your original principles. After Grease gives him these words of encouragement, Engine then pulls up. He says, "Rudo, hey man, quit being so sad and let's go grab something to eat." The other cleaners agree and they say, "Hey, yeah, come on, let's go eat." Rudo is shocked. He's like, "Wait, they're actually seeing me as part of the team." He's taken back on people, I'm guessing, wanting them for a change. He then accepts the invitation and they go eat. Now the party's lit and everybody's having fun. And as they're all enjoying themselves, there's a graffiti artist. He comes in and he starts to tag the wall. Engine then tells Rudo, he says, "This is a guy that never stops doing what he want to do, no matter what." I believe this is another example of someone giving Rudo motivation to never stop and never quit. Just keep going after what you want to do. And so as we move along, the next scene showcases a man getting tortured for information. And the man that's torturing him is the same villain that appeared at the end of the last episode. And after this poor man's pleading for his life on the ground, he says, "Hey, I've told you everything I know. Let me go." The villain then smiles with an ominous grin and says, "Okay," and then proceeds to rip his throat out. Going forward a little bit, Simiyu, the receptionist, gets a call, and she alerts the other cleaners that they have a new job request. Zanka has one question. He asks Simiyu, he says, "Why is Rudo here? He's not even a part of the team yet. He's not official." Simiyu then informs him that another spearwright has fallen from up top, and after the trash beast attacked him, the beast also took all of his belongings. And after this event, he called on the cleaners to help him kill the trash beast and retrieve his belongings back. Simiyu informs the team that he's a living person from the spear, and she believes that this spearwright might have clues to Rudo getting back up top to the spear. Rudo's having second thoughts. He's like, "Man, I shouldn't even join this mission. I might be a burden again." And as he looks down to his gloves, he says, "But if this can help me get back up top, I'll do it." And so they're off to go do their mission. And as they're walking, Rudo's questioning one of the supporters, Grease. He says, "Hey, you don't use a weapon?" Grease tells him, "No, I have a knife for self-defense, but I usually fight barehanded." And while they're talking, One of the other supporters jokingly tells Rudo about him keeping a little emblem that he prays to before they go into any one of their job. Grease is a bit embarrassed. He's like, yo, quit telling people my business. And he insists that prayer's not bad before you go on a job anyway. And right as they're talking, someone approaches them from the back. It's a lady. It's the merchant that hired them to take out the trash beast. After confirming that was her, Rudo then presses her for information. He says, hey, where's the spirit? What did he look like? Was he unconscious? She said that she happened to run across him while carrying her cargo in the polluted zone. Rudo starts to press her even more. He says, what did he look like? Is he still alive? Did you try to sell him? She tells Rudo no. When I seen him, he was knocked out unconscious. She then says, I'm worried about him too. That's why I hired y'all to kill the trash beast. After the press, she then says, hey, I'm going to take you to the trash beast lair. And so as they're walking, Zonka's thinking to herself, yeah, trash beasts do attack on sight, but a trash beast kidnapping a person? He says, this is weird. And so as they move along, they get to the trash beast's lair. But as they get there, the merchant lady is adamant on them hurrying up and getting to the trash beast. They're like, Ro, is it that powerful? And as they get deeper inside the lair, Rudo sees something. He says, something there. The merchant starts to push them. She said, it's the spirit. Go, go. And shockingly enough, as they approach it, they figure out it's not a spirit, it's actually a doll. They're shocked. But in that moment, the floor collapses and they fall to the floor. As they're collecting themselves and trying to see what's going on, they ask the merchant lady, what is this? Where's the spirit? She points down to him and she says, hey, they're over there. And out of nowhere, these two people appear with purple lanterns. Zonka realizes that they're raiders and that they've been set up. As the raiders approach them, they let them know that their goal is to take Rudo. Rudo's on the ground confused. He's like, raiders? Grease then tells him they're just a bunch of bandits. Grease explains to Rudo, he said they're just a bunch of bandits who resort to dirty tactics. After Grease explains the lore of the raiders, him thinking tactical, he commands his other supporters to go and secure the exit. He said it might be other raiders outside there. He also says that him and another supporter will protect Rudo. But just before they head out, he asks Zonka, can you handle these two raiders? Zonka agrees. He says, I'll take care of them. And so as Rudo, Grease, and other supporters head to go secure the exit, the two raiders size up Zonka, and they start their 2v1. And so as the battle starts, the female raider, she's using her mud puppets, but Zonka fends them off with his vital instrument. But the raiders, they have a trick up their sleeve, because while Zonka's fighting the other mud puppets, the male raider hits him with a sneak attack from behind. And as Zonka's laying down recovering from the hit, he realizes that he emerged out of one of the mud puppets. The female raider starts to troll him. She says, yeah, you don't know what to do when you're fighting a regular human. You're so used to fighting trash beasts. After the troll, Zonka gets back on his feet and round 2 starts. But Zonka's getting overwhelmed by the strategy, because as he's fighting off the other mud puppets, the male raider is appearing randomly, striking him in his blind side where he can't see. Zonka's on the ground. He can't seem to beat this strategy. But it's not over, because in the midst of the battle, Zonka figures out their tactics. And what happened next is just amazing. Zonka powers up his vital instrument. He strikes the ground, and like an infrared beam, his vital instrument scans the room, and he locates both of the raiders and destroys them. Game, set, match. But it's not over, because out of nowhere, the same mysterious villain appears behind him. Huh? What? And so that pretty much wraps up the episode. Well, that's Gachiakuta episode 5. Stay tuned for episode 6. I'm out.